The moon was a quiet place, covered in silver dust and cold wind. It was far away from the busy trade routes of the galaxy. Princess Kira stood alone on the surface of this sanctuary moon. She wore a white suit that protected her from the thin air. Her skin was a pale blue and her eyes were dark like the night sky. She was the heir to the Zalothian Empire, but she was hiding. She had made a public vow many cycles ago. She swore she would never marry. She did not want to be a tool for politics. She did not want a husband who only wanted her power. She wanted to be free. Kira looked up at the stars. She felt lonely, but she thought it was better than being trapped. The silence of the moon was her only friend. Suddenly the ground beneath her feet shook. The stars above seemed to wiggle and dance. A gravity storm was coming. These storms were dangerous. They could crush ships and twist metal. Kira turned to go back to her shelter, but she stopped. A bright light tore through the sky. It was a ship. It was falling fast. Smoke trailed behind it like a black scarf. The ship crashed into the valley below with a loud boom. The ground shook again, knocking Kira off her feet. She stood up slowly. Her training told her to stay safe, but her curiosity was strong. Who was in that ship? Was it an enemy? The Zalothian Empire had many enemies. She began to walk toward the crash site. Wind was getting stronger. Dust flew into her face. She pulled her collar up to protect her neck. As she walked down the slope, a piece of debris flew through the air. It was a chunk of rock kicked up by the crash. It hit her leg hard. She cried out in pain and fell to the ground. Her leg throbbed. She tried to stand, but her foot would not hold her weight. She was stuck in the open. During a storm, the smoking ship sat in the crater. The metal was hot and glowing. Kira watched it closely. She expected soldiers to come out. She expected lasers and weapons. She prepared herself to fight or run. The side of the ship hissed. A door opened. Steam poured out into the cold air. Figure walked out. It was not a Zalothian. It was a human. He wore dirty flight suit. He had soft pink skin and short brown hair. He did not look like a warrior. He looked tired. He carried a large bag in his hand. He did not have a gun. The human looked around. He saw the smoke and the fire. Then he saw Kira lying on the ground. He did not hesitate. He did not check for traps. He ran toward her. Kira tried to reach for her hidden blade, but her leg hurt too much. The human slid on his knees beside her. He looked at her leg. He spoke in a language she did not know, but his voice was calm. He tapped his earpiece. A small device on his wrist lit up. It began to speak in her language. "I am Jack," the device said. "Are you hurt?" Kira was surprised. Humans were known to be wild and dangerous, but this human looked worried. "I am injured," she said. Her voice was weak. Jack nodded. He opened the bag he was carrying. It was not full of weapons. It was full of medical supplies. He took out a small spray and a bandage. He looked at her eyes. He asked for permission before he touched her. "May I help?" he asked. Kira nodded. She was confused. In her empire, help always had a price. If someone helped you, they wanted something back. They wanted favor, or money, or power. But Jack did not ask for anything. He sprayed her leg. It felt cold and then warm. The pain went away quickly. He wrapped her leg with a bandage. He worked fast and careful. He treated her like a person, not like a princess or an enemy. "You are lucky," Jack said, "It is not broken, just a bad bruise. You should not walk on it for a while." "Why are you helping me?" Kira asked. "You do not know me. I could be your enemy." Jack smiled. It was a simple smile. It looked kind. "I saw you fall," he said. "Helping people is what we do. It does not matter who you are." Kira stared at him. She had never heard such a thing. Her people valued strength and status. Humans valued kindness. It seemed weak to her, but looking at Jack, it felt strong. He stayed with her while the storm passed. He did not try to take her ship. He did not try to capture her. He just sat there and shared his water. He told her his ship was broken. He said he needed to fix it to go home. Kira looked at the human. He was soft and fragile compared to her kind, but his spirit felt hard. Like diamond, he faced a crash in a storm without fear, and he helped a stranger without thinking. She had sworn never to marry. She thought all males were the same. They all wanted control. But Jack Holt did not want control. He just wanted to help. As the wind died down, Kira realized something important. Her vow was about finding respect, and for the first time she felt truly respected. She did not know it yet, but her lonely life was over. The human had changed everything with a simple bandage and a kind word. Days turned into weeks. On the silent moon, the silver dust settled around the crash site. Jack Holt worked hard every day. He wanted to fix his ship, the USS Oregon. It was a small cargo vessel, not a warship. It was broken, but Jack did not give up. He spent his mornings checking the engine. He spent his afternoons trying to fix the communication array. Kira watched him work. She could have ordered him to stop. She could have demanded he serve her, but she did not. She sat on a rock nearby and watched his hands move. He was skilled. He fixed things with simple tools. Every evening they ate together. Jack had ration packs from his ship. They were dry and tasted like salt, but they were food. Jack always gave Kira the larger portion. He said she needed it to heal her leg. Kira was used to servants bringing her food. They would bow and leave, but Jack sat with her. He talked to her while they ate. He told her stories about Earth. He talked about green grass and blue oceans. He talked about cities where people walked together without fear. Kira listened closely. Her world was very different. On Xyloth, everyone knew their place. The strong ruled the weak. The rich owned the poor. Marriage was a deal. You married to gain land or power. Love was not part of the plan. Jack spoke of love like it was common. He said people helped strangers because it felt good. Kira did not understand this at first. She thought he was lying, but she watched him. He never asked for payment. He never asked for a favor in return. He just helped. One night the wind was calm. The stars were bright above them. Kira looked at Jack. He was cleaning a wire with a cloth. "Why do you do this?" she asked. "You are stuck here. You could be angry, but you are calm." Jack looked up. He smiled. "Well, getting angry does not fix the wire," he said. "It only makes the day worse. We learn to keep going. That is what humans do." Kira thought about her vow. She had sworn never to marry. She thought all men wanted to control her. She thought she had to be alone to be safe. But Jack did not try to control her. He treated her like a friend. He joked with her. Once he tried to teach her how to play a card game. He laughed when she lost. He did not care that she was a princess. He cared that she was having fun. For The first time in her life, Kira felt seen. Jack did not see her title, he saw her, he saw her pain and her hopes, he listened when she spoke about her fears. She told him about the suitors who came to her palace. They brought gifts of gold and weapons. They wanted to own her world. Jack shook his head. That sounds lonely, he said. Everyone wants something from you. Yes, Kira said. That is why I left. I wanted to be free. You are free now, Jack said. Even here, being alone does not make you free. Being with people who respect you makes you free. Kira felt a warm feeling in her chest. It was not fear. It was something new. She looked at Jack's hands. They were rough from work. They were kind hands. She began to question her vow. Maybe she did not need to be alone. Maybe she just needed the right person, a person who valued her life more than her power. Jack was such a person. He was a human. He was soft compared to her kind, but his heart was strong. They worked together for many days. Kira helped Jack carry parts. She was stronger than him, so she lifted the heavy things. Jack fixed the delicate wires. They were a team. They did not speak much about rank. They just worked. Kira forgot about her empire. She forgot about the council. She only cared about the ship and the man fixing it. Then the radio crackled. It was late at night. Jack was sleeping near the fire. The sound woke him up. He jumped and grabbed the receiver. A voice came through. It was static at first, then it became clear. It was a human voice. Jack, can you hear me? This is Sam. Jack press the button. I hear you, Sam. Where are you? I am in orbit, Sam said. His voice sounded worried. We picked up your signal, but you have a problem. There is a Zelothian warship nearby. They are scanning the moon. They know you are there. Jack looked at Kira. Her face went pale. The warship meant hunters. It meant Commander Forlag. He was the head of her security. He was loyal, but he was cruel. He did not like humans. How long do we have? Jack asked. Not long, Sam said. They are sending a shuttle down. They want the princess and they want to eliminate the witness. That means you, Jack. Jack put the radio down. He looked at Kira. The peaceful days were over. The real world was coming back. Kira stood up. Her leg was healed now. She felt strong, but she felt fear too. She looked at Jack. He did not look afraid. He looked ready. They will come for me, Kira said. They will kill you to keep my secret. Jack stood up. He picked up a tool from the ground. It was not a weapon, but he held it like one. Then let them try, he said. I did not fix this ship just to leave you behind. Kira looked at him. She saw the determination in his eyes. He was willing to fight for her. He was willing to die for her. Her suitors would have run away to save themselves. Jack stood his ground. The vow she made so long ago felt far away. She realized she did not want to be alone anymore. She wanted to stand with him. The storm was coming, but they would face it together. The silence of the moon was broken. The hunters were on their way. The sky above the valley turned dark very quickly. Large shadow covered the sun. The Zelothian warship had arrived. It hung in the air like a black cloud. It was huge and scary. Small shuttles flew down from the big ship. They landed near the crash site. The ground shook. When they touched down, dust flew everywhere. The wind blew hard. Jack and Kira stood together. They waited. Jack held a heavy wrench in his hand. It was not a gun, but it was solid metal. Kira stood tall. She wore her white suit. She looked like a princess again. She felt Strong, but her heart beat fast. The door of the shuttle opened with a hiss. Commander Foreleg stepped out. He was very tall and wore black armor. His eyes were cold and hard. He carried a heavy weapon in his hand. Behind him came 10 soldiers. They all pointed their guns at Jack and Kira. The air felt heavy with danger. Foreleg walked forward. His boots made loud sounds on the rocks. He stopped in front of them. He looked at Kira first. He did not look at Jack. Princess Foreleg said. His voice was deep and rough. You must come with us. Your father is worried. The Empire needs you. You have been gone too long. Kira stepped forward. She put her hand up. I will go, she said, but you must leave the human alone. Hey, help me. He is not a threat. He fixed his ship. He will leave soon. Foreleg laughed. It was a cruel sound. He looked at Jack finally. He looked at him like he was dirt on his boot. This human, he asked. He is a witness. He knows where you were. He knows our secrets. We cannot let him live. It is the law. Jack stepped in front of Kira. He spread his arms wide. You will have to go through me first, Jack said. His voice was steady. He did not shake. He looked Foreleg in the eyes. Foreleg smiled. It was not a nice smile. You are one man, he said. You have no weapon. You have a tool. We have an army. Do not be foolish. Give us the girl and die quickly. It will not hurt much. Jack shook his head. No, he said, I do not leave friends behind. That is not how we do things. On Earth, we protect our own. Foreleg got angry. His face turned red. He raised his weapon. You humans are all the same, weak and stupid. You think kindness makes you strong. It makes you dead. You are alone here. No one is coming to save you. Kira felt fear. She knew Foreleg. He would kill Jack without thinking. He did not care about rules. He only cared about orders. She moved to stand beside Jack. She touched his arm. No, she said, if you shoot him, you shoot me. I will not go back. If he is dead, I will stay here forever. Foreleg paused. He did not want to hurt the princess, but he had orders from the council. Then you both die, he said. He signaled to his soldiers. They raised their guns. The lights on their weapons glowed blue. Jack moved fast. He kicked a small rock near his foot. It hit a hidden wire. Suddenly a noise came from the trees. A large net made of metal cables fell from the branches. It caught 2 soldiers. They fell to the ground. They could not move. The cables were tight. Foreleg stepped back. He was surprised. He did not expect this. He thought humans were soft. Jack had been working for weeks. He did not just fix his ship. He prepared the area. He used parts from the engine to make traps. He knew they would come. He looked at Foreleg. I told you, Jack said. You have to go through me. Foreleg growled like an animal. He fired his weapon. A blue beam shot toward Jack. Jack dove behind a rock. The rock melted where the beam hit. It was very hot. Smoke rose from the stone. Jack stayed low. He threw a small canister at another group of soldiers. It exploded with a loud bang. It was not a bomb. It was a fuel canister. It made smoke and noise. The soldiers could not see. They coughed and waved their hands. Kira watched in amazement. Jack was not a soldier. He was a pilot, but he fought like a warrior. He used his mind. He used the land. The Zolothians had better guns. They had more people. They had strong armor, but Jack was smarter. He did not fight fair. He fought to win. He fought to protect. Foreleg shouted orders. His soldiers spread out. They tried to find But Jack knew every rock and every hole. He moved like a ghost. He appeared here and there. He hit them and disappeared. Kira saw something in Jack's eyes. It was not hate, it was protection. He was fighting for her. Her own suitors would have begged for mercy. They would have given her up to save themselves. They wanted her power. Jack wanted her safety. One soldier tried to sneak around the side. He moved quietly. Jack saw him. He used a long pipe to trip the soldier. The soldier fell hard. Jack did not kill him. He just knocked him out. Jack did not like killing. He only wanted to stop them. He wanted to end the fight without death. Forlag was getting frustrated. He aimed at Kira. If he could not have Jack, he would take her by force. He fired. Jack saw the move. He jumped in front of the shot. The beam hit Jack's shoulder. He cried out in pain. He fell to one knee, but he did not stay down. He stood up again. His shoulder was burned. Smoke came from his suit. Blood stained the fabric, but he still held the pipe. He still stood between Forlag and Kira. Kira felt something break inside her. It was her fear. She saw Jack bleed for her. She saw him stand when he should fall. This was the human spirit. It was stubborn and bright. It was stronger than any armor. She realized she loved him. She did not care about the vow anymore. She cared about him. He was worth more than any empire. Forlag stopped firing. He looked at Jack. The human was bleeding. He was tired. His breathing was hard, but he was still standing. Oh, Forlag asked. His voice sounded confused. Why do you not quit? You are broken. Jack wiped blood from his face. He smiled a weak smile. Because someone has to, Jack said, and it might as well be me. We do not give up. That is what makes us human. The battle was not over, but the mood had changed. The Zalothians were scared. They saw a human who would not die. They saw a princess who would not leave. The moon was no longer quiet. It was a place of war, and Jack Holt was the center of it all. He was just one man, but he stood like an army. Kira knew she had to help him. She could not just watch. She had to fight too. Together they might survive, but Forlag was still dangerous. He raised his weapon again. He was done talking. Now he just wanted to kill. The air crackled with energy. The final stand was here. Kira moved before Forlag could fire again. She was not just a princess. She was trained in combat. Her people were strong, but they had forgotten why they fought. They fought for power. Kira now fought for something else. She raised her hand. Her suit had a small device on the wrist. It was a sonic emitter. It could make loud noises. She pointed it at the ground. Near Forlag, she pressed the button. Huge sound exploded. It was like thunder. The soldiers covered their ears. They fell to their knees. The noise was too much for their sensitive hearing. Forlag stumbled back. He dropped his weapon for a second. Jack saw his chance. He was in pain. His shoulder burned like fire, but he did not stop. He ran toward the ship. He had one last trap. He had connected the ship's engine to the fuel lines. He could overload it. It would not destroy the ship, but it would create a big blast of heat. It would push them back. Jack reached the panel. His hands shook. He typed in the code. The engine began to hum. The sound grew louder. Ground vibrated. Forlag recovered from the noise. He picked up his gun. He looked at Jack. He looked at Kira. He was angry. You are foolish, Forlag shouted. You will die for nothing. This human is nothing. He is meat and bone. He will break. Jack turned around. He stood by the engine. He was tired. His face was pale, but he stood tall. He is not nothing, Jack said. His voice was weak but clear. He is my friend and I do not leave friends. Foreleg did not understand. In his world, soldiers died for orders. They did not die for friends. Friends were weak. Loyalty was for servants. He looked at Jack. He saw the blood on Jack's suit. He saw the pain in Jack's eyes, but he also saw the fire. Jack was ready to blow the engine. He was ready to kill them all if it meant saving Kira. Foreleg hesitated. He realized something. He could kill Jack, but Jack would still win. Jack would take them with him. This human valued life so much he was willing to end it to protect one person. It was crazy. It was dangerous. Kira stepped up beside Jack. She put her hand on his good shoulder. They stood together. They were not a princess and a pilot. They were partners. Foreleg looked at them. He saw the bond between them. It was stronger than his armor. It was stronger than his guns. He lowered his weapon slightly. You are insane, Foreleg said. Both of you. Maybe, Jack said, but we are alive. Suddenly the sky changed again. A new sound came. It was not the heavy hum of the warship. It was the sharp whine of a shuttle. A small ship came down fast. It was not Zelothian. It was human. It had blue stripes on the side. It landed between the soldiers and Jack. The door opened. A woman stepped out. She wore a uniform like Jack. She had a rifle in her hands. Her name was Megan. She was part of Jack's crew. Sam's voice came over the radio again. We are here. Jack, backup is ready. Megan aimed her rifle at Foreleg. Do not move, she said. Her voice was cold. We have snipers in the hills. We have missiles locked on your ship. If you fire, you all burn. Foreleg looked around. He saw the new humans. They looked fresh and ready. He looked at his soldiers. They were tired and confused. They had been beaten by traps and noise. Now they faced real weapons. He looked at Jack one last time. Jack was still standing by the engine. He was smiling. It was a tired smile, but it was a victory smile. Foreleg knew he had lost. He could fight. He could kill them all, but more humans would come. The Empire did not want a war with Earth. Not yet. Not over one princess. He holstered his weapon. He signaled his men. Stand down, Foreleg said. They were confused, but they obeyed. You are lucky, Foreleg said to Jack. Next time you will not be so lucky. There won't be a next time. Jack said, go home. Foreleg turned. He walked back to his shuttle. His soldiers followed him. They carried their wounded. They did not look at Jack or Kira. They were ashamed. They had been beaten by a broken man and a princess who chose love over power. The shuttle door closed. The engines fired. The ship flew up toward the warship. The big ship turned away. It moved slowly into the dark space. The threat was gone. Jack let out a long breath. His legs gave out. He fell to the ground. Kira caught him. She held him in her arms. She was strong enough to hold him. Megan ran over. She checked Jack's shoulder. It is bad, Megan said, but he will live. He is tough. Jack looked at Kira. His eyes were half closed. You okay? He asked. He worried about her first. Even now, I'm okay, Kira said. Her voice shook. You saved me. We saved each other, Jack whispered. Then he closed his eyes. He went asleep. The pain was too much, but he was safe. Kira looked at Megan. She nodded. Megan smiled. She helped Kira lift Jack. They carried him into the shuttle. It was warm inside. It Smelled like oil and coffee. It smelled like home. Kira sat beside Jack. She held his hand. It was rough and warm. She looked out the window. The warship was gone. The moon was quiet again, but it was different now. It was not a place of hiding. It was a place where something changed. Megan flew the shuttle up to the main human ship in orbit. They would take Jack to a doctor. He would heal. Kira knew what she had to do. She could not hide anymore. She had to go back to the capital. She had to face the council, but she was not alone. She had Jack and she had the humans. They were not just visitors, they were allies. Kira looked at Jack's sleeping face. She touched his cheek. He was soft, but he was the strongest thing she had ever known. The battle was over, but the real journey was just starting. She knew the council would not like this. They would say a human was not good enough. They would say he was weak, but Kira knew the truth. She had seen them fight. She had seen them love, and that was the strongest power in the galaxy. Everything was made of smooth stone and metal. It was very different from his ship. He felt small here. I should go. Jack said, my crew is waiting. We have cargo to deliver. Kira shook her head. No, Jack, you cannot go yet. There is something we must do. The council is waiting. They want to know what happened on the moon. They want to know why Foreleg failed, and they want to know about you. Jack frowned. About me. I'm just a pilot. I do not want trouble. You are not just a pilot, Kira said. You are the reason I am alive, and you are the reason I am changing things. She took his hand. Her skin was cool. His was warm. Will you stand with me? Jack thought about it. He was tired. He wanted to go home, but he looked at Kira. He saw the hope in her eyes. He nodded. Okay, he said, I will stand with you. Later that day they walked into the great hall. It was a huge room with high ceilings. Pillars of black stone held up the roof. Many people stood in rows. They were the elders of the Empire. They wore dark clothes. They looked serious. At the front there was a high throne. Kira walked to the center of the room. Jack stood beside her. He wore his clean flight suit. He looked simple compared to the rich clothes of the elders. An old man stepped forward. He was the High Counselor. He looked at Jack with cold eyes. Who is this? He asked. He is a human. He is weak. He does not belong here. Kira spoke loudly. Her voice echoed in the hall. This is Jack Holt. He is a citizen of Earth. He is my guest, and he is my protector. The counselor laughed. Protector? He is injured. He almost died. Our warriors are strong. We do not need help from soft skins. We have traditions. You swore a vow, princess. You said you would never marry. You said you would rule alone. This human changes. Nothing. Send him away. Jack felt angry, but he stayed quiet. This was Kira's home. She had to fight this battle. Kira stepped forward. She looked tall and strong. My vow was to protect myself, she said. I thought marriage meant weakness. I thought love meant losing power. I was wrong. She pointed at Jack. He did not want my power. He did not want my gold. He saved me when he could have run. He fought when he could have surrendered. He bled for me when he did not know me. That is not weakness. That is strength. Real strength is not about how hard you can hit. It is about what you are willing to protect. The room was quiet. The elders looked at each other. They had never heard a princess speak like this. They valued power and bloodlines. They did not value kindness. Kira continued. Humans are not our enemies. They are our Allies Foreleg tried to kill him. Foreleg was wrong. If we fight the humans, we lose. If we stand with them, we grow. I am breaking my vow, not because I need a husband to rule, but because I found a partner who makes me better. She turned to Jack. He looked surprised. He did not know she would say this. Kira took a deep breath. I choose Jack Holt. If I cannot have him, I will not have anyone. The Empire must accept this. The High Counselor looked angry, but he saw the people in the room. They were listening. They were inspired. Kira was popular. She had survived the hunters. She had brought back a new ally. If the council said no, there might be trouble. The counselor bowed his head. Very well, he said. His voice was tight. The union is accepted. A treaty will be signed. Jack let out a breath he did not know he was holding. Kira smiled at him. It was a bright smile. The tension in the room broke. People began to talk. Some looked happy, some looked confused, but the decision was made. Later they stood on a balcony overlooking the city. The sun was setting. The sky was purple and orange. The city lights began to turn on. It was beautiful. Jack leaned on the railing. His shoulders still ached a little. You did good in there, Jack said. I did not know you were going to say all that. Kira looked at him. I had to, she said. They needed to hear the truth and I needed to say it. She paused. Do you mind? I know this is not what you planned. You are a cargo pilot. I am a princess. It is complicated. Jack laughed. Everything since I met you has been complicated, but I do not mind. I like complicated and I like you. Kira rested her head on his shoulder. They watched the stars come out. Far above them, ships moved in the sky, human ships and Zalothian ships. They flew together. The treaty was just paper, but the trust was real. It started on a quiet moon with a broken ship and a kind act. The galaxy was big and often dangerous. There would be more problems. There would be more enemies, but they would face them together. The vow was broken, but a new promise was made. It was a promise of friendship and love across the stars. Jack looked at Kira. She was no longer just a princess. She was his partner, and he was no longer just a pilot. He was part of something bigger. The wind blew gently. It was cold, but they did not feel it. They stood close. The future was unknown, but for the first time Kira was not afraid of being alone. And Jack was happy to be exactly where he was. The human and the alien, the pilot and the princess, together they were ready for whatever came next. The story of their meeting would be told for many years. It would be a story about how kindness won over power and how one human changed the fate of an empire.